place. Or we know saying Amahad and Anssarur.
نسعى بلا ثوان وتحلو طريق الخطر نسير وننشر نور الهدى ونقف تعاليم خير البشر.
Reformation. Talk about what? Reformation. ليس فقط الإصلاح بل الإصلاح العقدي. And then they only talk about reformation, but they talk about reformation of what? Aqidah, reformation of creed, reformation of doctrine. So the topic for the seminar as Islahul Aqadi Aslun li kulli Islah. Meaning now say what? The reformation of Aqidah, the reformation of one's creed, the reformation of your doctrine, Aslun li kulli Islah. It being at the basis of every reformation. We will go back, look at the terms. When we talk say reformation, what will be reformation? Islah. This one na kalima when it come na for Arabic. If we talk say na reformation, if we talk say na change, if we talk say na a process where man live from one stage to another, and above all, if we talk say na the dawah itself. If I feel ask question for all when I day for you. Now you hear me? If I feel ask question for all we know, I will ask them now in groups. I'm not going to ask them now in physical now person. They ask now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why we don't come for this seminar? To an extent, why we study for Ma'had? Now, I want one person may answer for you. To acquire knowledge. Naam. Rairuka. He has much more. Naam, Imam Oshay. To understand Islam. This group. Naam. To perfect our aqidah. Naam. To move jahal. Naam. Naam. Oh, wait. Okay. Naam. To reform ourselves. Good. To reform ourselves. Thing where we don't talk about all. Now reason where we come. But we don't forget one thing will be very important. على الداعي إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يكون غايته إصلاح نفسه أولا ثم الآخرين. أن تكون صالحا مصلحا. ما هو الغرض؟ أن تكون صالحا مصلحا. This is Islam. Man way to do da'wah or man way to study. The first thing I say, what? May I reform myself, then reform others. Now they understand? Reform yourself, then do it, then reform others. Because we get some syndrome where it day for we skin. Where this one are part of thing where shaitan they overuse we. Where it been I say most of the time when you ask student or you ask person, say why you the study? The first thing we go tell you now say, I want to teach. Yes, very important. Dawah, be very, very important. I want to teach. I want to call others to Islam. I want to. But one important thing we will forget now say, wait, I want to reform myself. So this topic where we idara don't choose some for we, now one of the most important topics. Because very soon all we going to go down to the Maidan, to the field. And the thing we will go do now reformation. When you call somebody to the way of Allah, when you see somebody engaging in a sin, you talk to him. You are trying to reform that person. You try now for reform me. For reform me, and I say, you want change the situation from one to another. And Islam, nothing when a day for community is a source of security for that community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will say, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ لِيُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى بِظُلْمٍ وَأَهْلُهَا مُصْلِحُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we destroy a people, when we have who among them? Muslim people where they be righteous, people where they be reformed. Now for sake that, where they asked Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, أَنْ نَهْلَكُ وَفِيهَا صَالِحُونَ قَالَ نَعَمْ إِذَا أَمَّتِ الْخَبَثِ. Say, Prophet, if we be destroyed, where righteous people there within we? He say yes, with a condition. إِذَا أَمَّتِ الْخَبَثِ. When sin don't overspread. This shows us that when you hear about reformation, know that there is something to change. And reformation no only mean saying a time where sin day. When you change from one step to another, it's a reformation. When you add something to your life Islamically, it is what? It is reformation. Now coming back to the topic, al-islahul aqadi. Why islahul aqidah? As a da'iyah, you have to know from where to start. What am I going to reform? And from what am I going to start? When you get to the field, when you go out on da'wah, what are you going to start with? Aqidah. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he be take message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he make how many years from Makkah? 13 years. Where he did reform now, Aqidah. Where every day they talk now, say, Qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. Una talk say, no God, no day, except Allah, and we're gonna go achieve prosperity. Why? Because Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, a'lamun nas billahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he will get the knowledge of Allah as we. Because when the aqidah, when somebody is reformed from the aqidah, with the aqidah, it is very easy for him to do any other thing. Let me ask a question, simple question. If now, during this dawrah, somebody comes into this class and say, I want to become a Muslim, what are we going to tell him to do? To make salah? We will tell him that Siyam is coming, will you fast? What will we tell him? Shahada. Limada? Why? لأنها لب الموضوع. Because it is the core. It is the core. It is the first and the beginning. Now, and reformation in the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is well defined. This sitting that we have here, that we are doing, we are not just doing from our own. It's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do with his du'at. And there is a glaring example in his sunnah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen, what did he say? إِنَّكَ تَأْتِي قَوْمُ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ فَلْيَكُنْ أَوَّلْ مَا تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَيْهِ شَهَادَةُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. This is what? Reformation, al-aqidah. Which means that as a da'iyah, when you get to the ground, you should have what we call an objective. And know that your objective is to do what? Ikhrajun nas min dhulumati shirki ila nuri tawheed. This is it. Islahul Aqidah. Ikhrajun nas min ibadati al-ibad ila madha? Ila ibadati Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ikhrajun nasi min al-bid'ati ila sunnah. This is reformation. And this should be the core, the torchlight of every da'iyah. Now, why are we talking about this when it is something you know? One of the reasons, when you get to the field, know that you are going to meet different people. And when you meet different people, if it happens that you go into the field now, it's a question. And you go to a place where there is muntashirah, and they tell you, no, Malam, you know, we'll talk about Tawheed. We will go with Malam where they teach Tawheed. You will talk about Salah, you will talk about Siyam, you will talk about Hajj. Yourself. Now for seeker that where if we go back to Al-Quran Al-Kareem, we see this nida, this call, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nar. The first thing I say, what is Qu anfusakum? Awalan, we serves. Because there is no way that you will reform another person if you are not reformed. If we are talking about reforming your aqidah, can you reform someone's aqidah when you don't have the right aqidah? It is not possible. It is not possible. So you get for reform yourself, then you know how for reform another person. Same like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum la yadurrukum man dalla idha ihtadaytum. Be yourself. Look at yourself first. This is a very big stage of reformation. When you are reformed, you will have the fruit of reformation. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in Hadith al-Qudsi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Man adani waliyan faqad anzantuhu bil harb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it talk about his beloved one, somebody who is more beloved to Allah. We will see the qualities. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained here by saying, the best thing is what? When Allah makes when Allah makes something compulsory to you, what do? You try to bring it. Do it to your best. And the Prophet sallallahu and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this hadith al-Qudsi, at the end of the hadith, what did he say? كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وكنت بصره الذي يبصر به وكنت يده الذي يبطش به ورجله الذي يمشي به. You see, this is what we call thamaratu al-ihlas. When you reform yourself, what you see, you become what? Your eyes will be protected. What you hear, what you do, your actions. ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون ما هو الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون. This is the fruit of reformation. When you are reformed, you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are reformed, you feel that security and you are secured. Therefore, my brothers, what we are saying here is that we talk now saying, for you for reform another person, you need to do what? You need for reform your own self. Now, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَهُمْ. Reformation. When you strive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for you. Now, then the second step of reformation is that one, Islahul Ghayr. And it is well defined in Sunnah. Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi. فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك من أضعف الإيمان. These are the stages. Reformation. 3 stages. This one is when it concerns who? Another person. So we are saying that reformation as da'iyah, when you want to reform, you have to be very careful to know what you are reforming and to know that it starts with your own self. Like we have athar from this athar is related by al-Bayhaqi. He said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن الأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر إذا سكت عنه العالم المصلح ظن الناس مشروعيته ففعلوا. This is أثر حتى ولو كان مرفوعا إلا أنها صحيح. He said, if a scholar, a reformer, Because when we talk about a scholar is somebody that reform. If he sees something that is wrong in the community and keeps quiet, he does not care about it. What is the next step? The next step now say people will think say this thing way it be quiet so now find thing. And the next thing I say wait they will copy them. Now if you be an alim, you see something for community where it spoil the go. You just sit down, you quiet. Where everybody look unto you, say me you talk. If you no talk, that means what? That means you don't make them be mashru. And the next thing I say people them go to do them. This one they show we now the responsibility where we get them on we head as waiting as du'at. When we get them towards people, towards the reformation, towards changing the community. Because when you are a scholar, you become the eye of everybody. And people will not watch you only with what you say, your actions. So we need to be very careful. Now we're talking now about the guidelines. Now what to be the real qualities for man way in the reform. Which be the qualities for person where he want reform, for person where he want do reformation. Now the first one I say, if you want to be a reformer or you want to do reformation, the first thing I say you must have the knowledge. And when we talk about knowledge, we talk about knowledge in courts, you must have sound knowledge. Sound knowledge. When we talk about knowledge, it's knowledge of Sharia. هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون؟ شباب هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون؟ لا يستوون. هل يستوي الظلمات والنور؟ There is no way. Somebody who knows cannot be like somebody who doesn't know. Light and darkness are two different things. The death and the living are two different things. Now for seeker that way we need for no say, as person where you want to reform the society, you know go reform now with your heart desires. You reform now with knowledge. إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء. Now, that is why you see that if we are talking about reformation, we are talking about because there is sin. If we are talking about reforming your Aqidah, we are talking about because there is the worst sin, which is what? Which is shirk. And how does sin come? Sin come to a community and lives in a community when there is the absence of the ulama, when there is the absence of the scholars. And the absence of the scholars can be in many ways. Like one that we have that is coming towards our own time, which is a sign among the signs of the day of judgment, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Inna Allah la yaqbidu al-ilma intiza'an yantazi'uhu min al-ibad." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not grasp knowledge, will not take knowledge only by doing what? By taking it from the heart of the scholars. Wa innama yaqbidu al-ilma biqabdi al-ulama. Ma ma'na biqabdi al-ulama? Bimawti al-ulama. Knowledge will be taken away from us by what? The death of the scholars. And this has happened. When we look at the time of Ibn Taymiyyah, can it be compared to our own time? Can we compare our own time to the time of Ibn Taymiyyah? The time of Ibn Qayyim, can it be compared to our own time? Coming down to our scholars who just died of late, like Bin Baz, Uthaymin, and others. That the scholars have been taken away. What is the resource? اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا. This is the worst period. That if reformation is not taken, is not done, the ummah is about to be drowned because in a situation whereby there is no scholar, is then that some people will assume themselves as scholar. اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا. Their leaders will be who? Ignorance. What is the resource? فسئلوا فماذا؟ فأفتوا بغيرهم فضلوا وضلوا. Now they will be asked. When they ask, see somebody sitting, they ask him about mas'ala. He has no time to ask. Say, Jais, Yajus. Wallahi, this is fitna. Our scholars before, when they ask about a question in Sharia, somebody will feel like if the whole world is put upon him. But now, you see, the fitna that we are living in, everybody is scholar. Everybody is doing da'wah, isn't it? When they call a seminar like this one, people, them no one come. But they want to do now, they want to go do da'wah. You want to call man, what's you day? Are they for da'wah for do? Are they for da'wah for this place? Man, when you never ever see where she done for class. Even nobody say, with the belittle now within. Now who they so? Where if you go for hospital so, come see me where no me say a day so I no be doctor. I tell you say I go put drip for your skin. You go accept. You go accept. But to say no, I know say you no be doctor. But even na da'wah now, oh man they talk say na sheikh. Wallahi tullah. My brothers, may we be very careful. Because when you talk about Allah, remember, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Man kadhaba anni muta'ammidan falyatabawwa maq'adahu min ad-din." This one not be an easy matter. So the first thing I say, if you want to reform, start with yourself. If you have reformed yourself, what is the next stage? To reform another person. And reforming another person, the knowledge must be there. La budda min al-ilm. Naam. We have Ibn Sirin tell us, inna hadha dinu, inna hadha ilmu dinun. Fanzur amman ta'khuduna dinakum. Naam. This also tells us that you, when you want to reform yourself, is not from anybody that you have to go. We live in a society where we know whom we are living it. If you see somebody where you know, say this man na bid'ah man, you go sit down for 4 years, say why you say you want to study, you dey study now, wait. That is the truth. Some people want to say no, they only study na fiqh for me. You know they touch matter for aqidah. Subhanallah. Which fiqh? If man don't show yourself, say me I like bid'ah, me I be bid'ah man, me I do this, now already danger. We don't accuse now people, but they talk now with guidelines. Because this knowledge where we take them, so now with religion, and we need for know from who we take with religion. Now, the second one, now al-ikhlas. I don't say when I be no say we'll come for ikhlas. Because we hardly talk matter where you concern deen where ikhlas no day. When you want for reform, you need to make up your intention. Any matter where you concern deen, intention must be there. Because if intention no day, it got lost your rewards. وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنثُورًا. Class no day. Thing where you do I'm not for sicker person. Or thing where you do I'm not for maslaha, for interest. So anything we would do, if you want reform, change, make your intention. Say you want to do for seeker Allah. And if you do for seeker Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will make them may be easy for you. Now, I get some qissa where I read them about Imam Ahmad, Imam Ahli Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Where they talk say time we ibday for Baghdad, Kufa. Wallahi, amrul ikhlas sa'ab. What will happen? If you get some your neighbor, we just there for corner your house. That your neighbor talk say, if you get your mommy, where your mommy don't she don't for wheelchair, say don't she don't wear the worker for about 20 years. Some your other neighbor talk for you say this kind of thing so. Talk for Imam Ahmad, he make you dua. He talk say ikomoso, go stand for Imam Ahmad, he do, he no come. Yeah, Imam Ahmad, na man we no be the play with the time. I say na who? He talk say na, he say na wait. He say Imam de ask he say me make you dua. He talk say yeah, we talk with voice of man where he don't vex. He say nahnu ahwaj ila duaikum. Say we need a dua more than the way you need my own. As he talk so, you know what come on. He talk say what he remain for there, but Imam Ahmad think say he don't go. He say as he remain for here, he way to make dua for Imami. Why if they talk with anger so? For make him me go, but you know I deny for make dua, but he didn't make him. But he the thing say you know the year. He talk say as he go back so, he knock the door, Imami come away the waka. This one na ikhlas, karam, salahun nafs, qabla islahul akharin. Now people where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He don't bless them. They don't reform themselves. They don't reform their relationship between them and Allah. This one now for tell we say, ikhlas, it be very, very important. It make them so they even know, even no one know say they don't know say you don't make them. When I see thing where ikhlas they make them, so my brothers, thing where they tell we say anything where they do them, we try put ikhlas for them. When I see this time na time where we get thing where we do them mostly where we do them people them this year, but we do go this for fundraising sometime. They see man don't give something they never call them, he will vex. We will try for control ourselves. Thing where you don't do them now for seek Allah. Forget you about. Think now about the next one. Some with teacher when Al-Utaybi for Jamia Islamiyah. Time we talk about ikhlas, it talks say something be happen for ye. This one na the why we are taken. I feel to say and Utaybi. It talks say someday he go shidong for haram. Masjidun Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It is shidong with your friend, some student. It comes home make salah. Nafila. He look him the way he make him. He talk for your friend, MashaAllah, as a Talibun, MashaAllah. As you want to talk say the student, yeah. When I know thing where the student do the student don't make salah, no man never talk. He salute them, they talk say, I be they make salah too, I be fast. Now imagine that kind of thing. Imagine that kind of thing. Now for secret this, my brothers, I want to tell you some secret. If you really want to assess yourself about this matter for ikhlas, when you try to look your the works where you do them hiddenly, plus the one where you do them with because them the same. Ulama them they talk say, for begin see your level of ikhlas, me do what we try to see thing where you do them where people them know they see, and thing where they do them where they see. Because this matter about ikhlas, we need for the teach we say every day. Because now Islam. Because like Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna fil jasadi la mudgha. إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت ألا وهو قلب. This small thing will the same so now a big problem. Now you get the call. When you do something, so you want commercial that it talks shaitan, one day you say, no, make a made no. Why? Talibul ilm, me try for the fight yourself. As talibul ilm, me try for the do what the fight we self against shuhra, against thing we say, me they talk. Now haq na right for person say when you don't see a fine thing where your brother do and me do it. Me you talk am. Me you make them, me people them know. Even at the one way it be suitable. Me you thank you. But you way they do them, try for avoid. Say I want do am say me they talk. Or one do am say me they ye. Or one do am say me they thank me. Try for it. Innama nut'imukum liwajhi Allah la nuridu minkum jazaan wala shukura. No. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may help we. Now, the next one. Now following the right manhaj, tiba al-manhaj sahih. As da'iyah, we know say islah for change. We get we own manhaj. You get we own manhaj for da'wah. But me you no go borrow something where you feel say it will bring fruit, but we no be nothing where Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam no do. For example, you want to go for some place, so they tell you, say, people for there over like music. We talk say, me, I will come put an ashit, so that when the one come, I will make dawah. How will I see? How will I see that one? The same thing. Maybe we manhaj be wadi, clay. Man amila amalan laysa alayhi amruna. You want to do something, make sure say you ask yourself, this thing we have doing, so the best person where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose him, if we don't do him, ma taraka min khairin illa dalla al-ummata alayhi wa ma taraka min sharrin illa hadharahum Rasool sallallahu. Any good thing no day where the Prophet live and we know show we taraktuhum ala madha ala mahajjati al-bayda layluha لا يزيغ عنها إلا من لهالك. The road it be very clear where Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam live with for day, and if you hold them now for day where success day. Manhajus salaf, manhajun wadih, no protocol, very clear. We every good now follow their way. And all mislead now for go against them. So we need to be very careful. Time where we try for do Islam. The fourth one, when you want being a Muslim, you need to make a difference between good and bad. What will be dalil? We get hadith where we get them from Huzaifa bin al-Yaman, where he talks say, "Kana an-nasu يسألون رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الخير وكنت أسأله عن الشر مخافة أن يدركني." Huzaifa, we know very well. It talks for time for Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Plenty people them they come so they ask Prophet sallallahu mostly about good thing, but if they ask plenty about what about bad thing. فقلت يا رسول الله كنا في الجاهلية وشر فجاءنا الله بهذا الخير فهل من بعد هذا الخير من شر. He talks about it. Oh Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we be there for jahiliyyah, and that one may be in the worst period. Then after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He bless we with Islam. Where this one now the best thing where we don't get them. He ask him say, after this good thing where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we don't give them for we, is we will ever come get bad thing again. What did the Prophet وَفِيهِ مَاذَا دَخَنْ talk say yes, it will be. It will be, but it will be now. We get hidden evil. You look them so you know if you differentiate them. وَمَا دَخَنُوهُ. Ask him. Now wait, this hidden evil now wait. It talks say wait. نعم قبله رجال قوم يستنون بغير سنتي ويهتدون بغير هدي. Some people where they go their own way no go be na the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their guidance no go be na your guidance. Wallahi, al khayru kullu al khayr fi tamassuk bil kitab wa sunnah wa shar kullu shar fi mukhalafatihima. If you want any good as da'iyah, if you want to reformation as da'iyah, no say all goodness ibina for hold to sunnah and to the Quran, as well as no say all evil ibina when you don't go against the two. He continue. Because if I never stop for you, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say after this one, someone them go day. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says what? Naam. Man hum? Du'atun ala abwabi jahannam. Man ajabahum kadhafuhum fi. Callers. Ainahum ala abwabi jahannam. Anybody will go answer them. Now what will happen? Kadhafuhum fiha. You go join them for that. So du'at, we get for be very careful. Differentiate between good and bad, and all good is by doing what? Following the Sunnah and the Quran. Now, the fifth one, now athabat, steadfastness, to be steadfast. The way the column says thabat. It be very difficult. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he described, fitanun kamada kaqita'il laylil muslim ma huwa yusbihu rajulun mu'minan wa yumsi kafiran wa yumsi mu'minan wa yusbihu kafiran ma huwa yabi'u dinahu bi'aradin min ad-dunya. Trials, you know very well. As da'iyah, one thing way it go be an obstacle for your reformation. It go be na witi trial will come for your root. This trial, if it be na at personal level, this trial if it be at community level, or anyway, you need for know, and when you know, you start to prepare yourself. Because bala adai. Bala adai. And as da'iyah, you be among people where bala must come for them. Because na manhajil anbiya. For being steadfast, you need for being a man way. You get knowledge, you did make dua, you did depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it be very, very difficult. Because the problem no be enough for start. At the starting, if it be easy, like Albani rahimahullah says, At-tariqu ila Allahi tawil. At-tariqu ila Allahi tawil. The route to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what? It's long. فَلَيْسَ الشَّأْنُ أَن تَكُونَ عَلَى الطَّرِيقِ لَيْسَ الْمُهِمْ أَن تَكُونَ عَلى الطَّرِيقِ. The most important thing, you be for that road. وَمُوتَ عَلَى الطَّرِيقِ. Say me you die where you day. Now how many people at the end they one die where they don't come out? Plenty. We get examples for people where we know them. Wallahi, when they talk so, I feel them because I know some people, them with me, I know them. With me and them, we don't so. With the talk say, this one example. But after some time, well, iyazu billah. So my brothers, athabat. As da'iyah, when you do your da'wah, you do your islah, don't forget yourself. When you do your islah, make dua, say me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make me be thabit. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت. Iman, check your iman, check your fear of Allah. Islahun nafs, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you tathbit. Naam. Now for sikadat, we Imam Malik rahimahullah, he talks about it. لا يصلح آخر هذه الأمة إلا بماذا؟ إلا بما صلح بها أولها. We will not think say we don't reach level where we get something where we make Islam except the one way the chosen Quran, the chosen generation be doing. So Sabat, forget this Sabat being I say with you, we to move now on the way of the Sunnah, be now on the right track. Now for seeker that way among the لأجل ذلك كان من دعائه صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم يا مقلب القلوب بالطاعة على دينك. If Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he pray about Thabat, what more of I and you? May Allah may give with Thabat. Now, if we want to go back to the Sirah, we go here some talk with ulama Adam they talk. Al-Madani, he talk say, Inna Allah a'azza hadha ad-din bi rajulaini la thalith lahuma. This one Nathaba. Al-Madani. He talk say what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say among people we use some for give sabat for this din two people. The third one no day. Bi Abi Bakr as-Siddiq yawm al-ridda wa bi Ahmad yawm al-mihna. The first person now Abu Bakr Siddiq yawm al-ridda. Starting from time where Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. We know the certain high day. This one the highest musiba where it don't happen for ummah. Not to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ummah may be confused until except time where Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu become Thabat Islahul Aqabi in the right place. Ito Muhammadan فإن كان يعبد الله فإن الله عنه. This one Thabat أيها الإخوة. When you go talk, time when no man know, when all man the fear for talk. When you go talk the right thing for the right place, when it is needed. Time when people then be the common for Islam. It can reach level where someone them they talk say they no give zakah. What did BB stand for Abu Bakr? He go fight them. But Umar nobody see with you. Thabat. La uqatilanna man farraqa bayna as-salata wa zakah. Thabat. Ahmad bin Hanbal. We know the qissa. Time we they say me talk say Al-Quran makhluk. This one situation we it don't reach now for ikra. But he be thabit ala qawlihi Al-Quran kalamullah. Easy. Now for so Al-Madani talk say Inna Allah a'azza hadha ad-din bi rajulaini لا ثالث لهما. Because this situation may be in a situation for aqidah where if they be mix some kind thing for being a hujjah. So this one, my brothers, we talk now about with it. Thabat. You know, it be easy for being steadfast. Because when you be steadfast, time we try and never come. It be easy for talk. Like we day now for this we for this we area. No camera day. Yeah, no to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala me forgive we. Now the last one. Nah, all over. I don't think what the Quran say underlook. Ihtikar. No underlook any person. Because you don't know. May I tell you when some kissa will happen to where this kissa now we did for Athar. This kissa Al-Muzani, it talks some day be day for Medina, some days them for Medina to Munawwara, wherein no be day. I not say for desert. This palaw for rain. It over worry. Rain where rain never fall. So he want to enter for a mosque. He see some man where the shidong. The man the shidong on a mud, on a pillar. That man the shidong they make dua, they talk say they make qasam. Now no qasam now. They talk they say Ya Allah, I say they say by your name, I say me rain fall. Ya Rab, I say me fall. Ya Rab. It talk say as that man want take down your hands so. Where is the stage for you couldn't rain begin before? Now nothing will happen. It took say this man we see him so now man we it don't look very shabby. Man we they look it from the appearance very poor man no. Wait a minute, it look am so it's so surprising as the man want put your hands down so now it happen rain fall. Subhanallah. If follow ye, it just see him so go. Then follow ye right for your place where they live. Enter for your house, you talk say, I be sitting where you I be see that door where make them last night rain for. Thank you. Allah don't use you for make them we get blessing. The man angry so he come out for your place. I say come out so the next day you want go see the man where the man don't transfer. Subhanallah. Rubba ash'ath madfu'un bil adwab la aqsama ala Allah la abarra. Me no, don't neglect. You foresee some man so way they will be very shabby. We even day now for all though the big. Wallahi, if you take your hands back where Allah never answer. Da'iyah. As da'iyah, where you be in a man where you reform. Where you be in a man where you do reformation. You need to be very, very careful. When you say, when they reach for some area, when they happen with me, they happen with you. When you go for some area, because of tiredness, because of too much engagement. Some man, they just come so they say, no, this one, no, man, I don't leave. Try for balance of your equation. No say, mahma yakunu halahu, fahuwa khalqun min khalqillah. Whether you position there now, whether you be now, no say it be now, creature among the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't know. Now, lastly, the thing where with the talk, now advice, with me, And the last advice we had to give them now from the same place where they start. Al-Islahu al-Aqadi, Aslun li kulli Islah. To reform your Aqidah. The reformation of Aqidah, it being the basis of every reformation. But I call myself, I call you, my brothers. We will reform we serve before we reform others. Kun salihan musliha. Being a man way before you want to go reform person, we don't reform yourself. Because no, say when they don't talk, say you been a die, here say you come now. No go they look yourself, say they look now this Suleiman, they look now Tar Hussein, they look now with different eye. And that different eye way they look so. If he be in a sabab for hidayah, or if he be in a sabab for it, dalala. Be very careful. Be very careful with the way you talk. Be very careful with your actions. Be very careful the way you do what you do. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Alaikum assalam.
Inshallah, before Sheikh one come out, soon I just some questions and I feel ask Sheikh about jealousy. It is very important, inshallah. May the questions be now for inside تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء
Ramadan 2025, the Mahat Islamic Conference Hall, Old Town, Bamenda is bracing to host this year's Ramadan Da'wah fundraiser scheduled for February 23, 2025 with targeted budget 30 million francs CFA. An amount carefully drafted to cover expenses for the upcoming pre- and post-Ramadan Da'wah organization, seminars, Quranic competition, and mass media sensitization. Equally in the preview is a follow-up on the community farmland and Mahat bus maintenance. The financial and moral support of each and every Muslim faithful will go a long way to attaining this milestone, for your donation today will help propagate Islam and consequently reaching out to the most remote peripheries of our country. This year, the Dawah Caravan will be targeting some 95 localities, aiming to benefit them with the Islamic message of peace and submission to the will of Allah. For the past 3 years, the Mahat fundraiser has made a giant stride in the field of Dawah with palpable results for everyone to see. 391 students have successfully carried out preaching in 238 localities in 6 different regions with satisfying results. During the process, over 345,000 people were reached, with 167 reverting to the straight path of Islam. Also, 20 graduates from the Mahat Islamic Complex have received scholarship thanks to the Dawah fundraiser. They are currently pursuing studies in Islamic universities in Egypt, Niger, and Saudi Arabia. How can we talk about the Mahat Dawah fundraiser without mentioning the unflinching role of the Anssarur Rasool TV in reaching out to the nook and crannies of the social media audience? This Dawah arm of the Mahat institution is more and more playing an important role in the ever-changing field of media propagation of Islam. The Anssarur Rasool TV, though an online TV, is gradually becoming a household name owing to its imposing facet in the social media space. 30 million francs CFA is our target this year. We have done it before and will definitely do it this year again with your relentless efforts come February 23, 2025, inshallah.
يا رب ثبتنا على الإيمان واجعلنا هداة التائه الحيران وأعزنا بالحق وانصرنا به نصرا عزيزا أنت ذو السلطان وعلى رسولك أفضل الصلوات والتسليم التسليم منك وأكمل الرضوان وعلى صحابته جميعا والأولى تبعوهم من بعد بالإحسان. يا رب ثبتنا على الإيمان واجعلنا هداة التائه الحيران، وأعزنا بالحق وانصرنا به نصرا عزيزا أنت ذو السلطان. وعلى رسولك أفضل الصلوات والتسليم منك وأكمل الرضوان، وعلى صحابته جميعا والأولى تبعوهم من بعد بالإحسان. يا رب ثبتنا على